Hey guys, it's Tozyro here. So the haircut regret, we've all been there before, we've all done it. When you actually enjoyed how your hair looked like, but for some reason you just ended up getting it cut. Maybe you had a bad few hair days. Let's be honest, maybe you just wanted that fresh new haircut attention. But regardless, I'm going to try to help you guys out in how to deal with that haircut regret. Just quickly before we get into it, if you guys could leave a like, subscribe and follow me on Instagram too, that would be very helpful to me. It's quite quick, but it goes a long way. The first thing that it's worth keeping in mind is that loads of people are in your situation, including myself. I've been there before. I was extremely upset. The first time that I grew out my hair and I got it cut, it was the worst thing. Like, honestly, I felt like terrible. Obviously, there's far worse things that happened. You know, I'm not saying that it was literally the worst thing, but it was actually terrible. And I'm sure that you might be feeling that way right now. But this kind of thing happens with everyone. It happens with men. It happens with women. I've seen it happen where people got the shortest trims ever and they felt terrible. I've seen it happen where people had really long hair and got it cut really short and felt terrible. So it's something which is quite universal. It's not like it just happens to a certain group of people. It happens to absolutely everyone. In fact, I'd say that if you go speak to a family member, speak to a friend, I'm sure that they would be able to tell you of an experience that they had, and that would probably make you feel a lot better. So it's definitely worth doing that kind of stuff, because honestly, like, getting some comfort knowing that you're not alone in this is something which is quite truly helpful, I'd say, and is probably one of the things that you can do to help you feel better. I think it's also important that you learn from your mistakes in this, and what I mean is, of course, it's easy to blame the hairdresser, maybe the barber. Maybe you could say, hey, my friend got a new haircut and it looked really good, so I decided to get a haircut too. But it's good to take in responsibility, because once you take in responsibility, that's part of the healing process and part of like dealing with it. And that's one of the ways in which you could feel better as well, is learning to just take responsibility for it. You know, it was your decision at the end of the day. You were the person that decided to go to the hairdresser or to the barber and get your hair cut. And that's absolutely fine, because we all make mistakes. And honestly, that probably isn't your worst mistake. You've probably done far worse things in life. So don't worry about that at all. And just try to acknowledge that it's simply a mistake that you've done. Like anything, mistakes happen every single day to everyone. Another thing which you're probably tired of hearing of, but it's still important to mention in here anyway, if we're trying to bring all of these things together, you can grow your hair out again. During the first time that I grew my hair out, which I was 11 up until today, where I'm 17, I've grown my hair out at least 5 times. I've had it here, I've had it here, I've had it like here, I've had it like almost every single length you can imagine. I've had it shaved on the sides and like up to here at the top. I've done everything. And you will be able to grow out again. And this was just, you know, such a small period of my life. You've got years and years and years left, hopefully. So, you know, definitely just keep in mind that you can grow your hair back out, and hair grows quicker than most people expect. Like, before you know it, you're gonna see a difference in the size. I mean, for my case, I'm on my 3rd month of growing my hair out since I shaved it, and you know, I'm starting to see like the little like curls on the side and everything. And by the way, I'm making a video about that, so if you subscribe, you'll be able to see my little hair growth during quarantine. But hair grows, and it grows more quickly than most people are aware of. So probably don't spend too much time thinking about it. The time in which I grew my hair out the longest was the time which I was most frustrated with when I got my hair cut. So you might be on your way of having the longest hair you've ever had if you use that frustration, if you use that energy into growing your hair back out. That's probably one of the most important things, I'd say. If you're feeling frustrated right now with a haircut that you have, obviously learn to deal with it, but keep that in the back of your head, because you will be able to use that as a means to be able to grow your hair and to not give up. That is what I did, and I grew my hair out for, it was like a year and a half. So it was down to here. So it was really long, and you know, you have to use that. You have to use that to your advantage. You know, this situation that's going on right now, it might seem negative to you at first, and if it's really negative, you're gonna want to try to forget it. But if you can turn that into something good, if you can turn that into something positive, and you can take that to your advantage and use that to grow your hair longer than it's ever been before, then that should be able to help you out. That is, of course, if you're trying to grow your hair back out again to what it originally was, which might not be the case, but it could also be the case for you. One of the other things that I wanted to mention is that you're in complete control of your hair. And what I mean by that is, whatever your hair is right now, you can do so many things to it. You can do a different parting, you can put products in it, maybe depending on the length, you might be able to tie it up. But in terms of your hair, you can do essentially whatever you want to it. As I said, 3 months ago, I got my hair shaved. If you want to dye your hair, there is really no lack of control because you have all the control over your hair. Your hair growing out is also a form of you expressing that control because you're going out of your way to decide that, hey, you know, I want to grow my hair. So it's everything comes into play here. And the reason why this is worth keeping in mind is because one of the things which is key to overcoming this kind of like sadness of dealing with a haircut regret is knowing that you're in control. Because many times you will feel like, I'm not in control, I don't have the hair that I want, but you actually do. And I'm sure that if you look in the mirror right now, you maybe get some products out, maybe think about dyeing your hair. If you do something, you could probably get your hair looking better than how it looks right in this moment in time. You can continuously do little tweaks, little improvements. You can brush it a different way. And maybe you decide to blow dry it, straighten it. But there's just so many different things that you can do to make your hair seem better. And that's all because you're in complete control of it. You could just grow your hair out for the next 3 years if you wanted to. But going back to that story that I was telling earlier, when I was like 12 and I got my haircut for the first time after growing out for the first time, I felt terrible. But what I did was I managed to grow it out for the longest that I've ever had it. And, you know, part of it is dealing with that first sadness that can come along. And that can honestly, like, to some people, they might not care. They might just be like, oh, honestly, like, this is annoying. I wish that I could have my hair growing back. And to other people, it could really affect them mentally. Also, another thing which might help you feel a little bit better about the haircut regret is if you take some progress pictures, maybe you can do some little videos, like, you know, little hair updates and stuff like that. If you do those little things too, it might make you feel a little bit better because you see the progress more vividly than if you were to just look in the mirror. So, I mean, a good example of this is, you know, a month's difference is quite noticeable if you're looking at it through photos. But if you're looking in the mirror every single day, looking for these new differences and these new patterns, you're probably not going to find it. So it's worth just taking some pictures, documenting it basically. I made a video growing my hair out for just over a year. And obviously you can see the difference. Within months, you can see the difference, sometimes even weeks. And that might also be the case with your hair, depending on how quickly it grows. But it's always, I would say it's always worth going ahead and doing that. You know, just take some pictures. Maybe, again, ask a family member or a friend if they notice the differences and just see, because they probably have. Most of the times other people have, but you just don't yourself because you're paying so much attention to it, and obviously it's something that you deal with every day because you're looking at yourself every day and you're thinking, you know, like, how does my hair look like now? You know, you're sorting it out and everything. Another thing which I find quite interesting to do, and this makes me feel a lot better, is look at what you want your hair to look like. Look at people that have those like hair goals. I personally have mine, Greg Brzezinski. Like, I think he's amazing. I think his hair looks absolutely wonderful. And, you know, I kind of look at him and I think to myself like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I could have my hair that length? And if you do the same too, then you might find some inspiration and you might feel a little bit better as well. In terms of like dealing with that kind of stuff. Because most of the times you're not going to be like, oh, I'm so sad that my hair doesn't look like that. You're going to be more hopeful. You're going to be like, hey, I can't wait until my hair looks like that. Once again, convert that kind of like negative energy into something a little bit more positive, a little bit more hopeful, because you guys will be surprised how easy it is to mold your hair once it gets longer, how you can have it different shapes, different sizes. So kind of just like look at your hair goals, person or individual, whoever it is, and try to aim for that. And by aiming at that, you're probably going to feel a lot better about where you are now, because you can always reach where those people are, unless they have a completely different hair type, but that's not always the case. If none of those things work, if none of those things have made you feel any better, then remember this, right? After a while, it will go away. With many things in life that bug you, that bother you, such as getting a haircut, it's a matter of time before they go away. Like a good friend of mine, he's quite short, he's like 5 foot in height. He doesn't care anymore. Obviously, every now and then, you kind of get it brought back, but he doesn't care about it anymore. And same with me and my gray hairs. I made a video about my gray hairs, so if you guys want to check that out, I'll put it in the description too. But after a while, you learn how to deal with it. But you know what the difference is? Time is in your favor here, because as you learn to deal with it, time will go by, and as time goes by, your hair will grow longer. So you will start to care less. And as you start to care less, your hair will grow more and will grow more. And you'll probably get to the size that you wanted to, or the size that you wanted to have. It really depends on the difference and how long you want to have it. But time is in your favor here. And it's just a matter of, it's these two things mixing in. The fact that after a while you won't care. And the longer it gets, the closer you will get to the hair that you wanted before. So those two things coming together really do help you out in that sense. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you feel more comforted about it. And once again, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, and please leave a like and subscribe to this video, that would be extremely helpful. That means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, I got a new microphone. Okay, so let me just stop myself right there. If you're clever enough, you would have noticed the little pop shield on the bottom of the camera right there. And that is because I did have the microphone installed and I was very excited to be using it for my video. Unfortunately, I couldn't sync up the audio for some reason. I had some issues with that. I stayed until 3 AM trying to sync up the video, but I couldn't, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. At least the audio is still bearable. I think my iPhone has a little camera or something, so either way, like, I tried, guys. I'm going to try finding a way to fix this, maybe buy a new camera or something. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I did try to use a microphone, but it didn't work, so apologies. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.